Hi,
Hi. Hi.
nice to have you on this show once again.
Nice to have
How are you
you.
doing?
I'm fine.
And how was your week?
Thank
I hope you are good. You do good.
you. Thank
It's
you.
nice to have you on the show once again.
Nice to have
You can have your seat.
Thank you.
So, how has been the week?
It has been okay. It has been a lot of farm work. It has been a lot of.
And I hope you enjoyed the process.
I did. I did. It's fun actually.
Oh,
My plants are my babies.
that's good. Same with me. So how are your tomatoes doing?
My tomatoes are fine. They're
Oh,
okay.
that's good.
They're
We had a
looking
lot
fine.
of comments regarding our discussion the last time.
That's so nice.
Yeah, people were saying that, wow, in fact, even on TikTok, some people send their regrets to you that, oh, I should greet Damin. Even on
Oh,
Facebook, some of my
wow.
friends there were like, oh, I should greet Damin. So I thought it
Greeted
would be
them
nice having
too.
you on this platform once again to discuss more of agriculture content to synthesize people.
I'm greeting them too. Thank you so much for having me again.
All right.
It's so
So
nice
can
being
you
back here.
just introduce yourself briefly before we go into the topic for
Okay,
today?
again, I am Miss Damilola.
Oh,
I am a graduate of the University of Ibadan and I'm a
um,
7 core member at the Soilless Farm Labs where we
wow.
are now.
Nice to meet you once again.
Nice to meet
All right,
you
for
too.
people who are possibly watching us for the very first time, I am by name the Unilorin fanboy. I like introducing myself that way because that is the name people know me with. So I am a student of the Better by Far University. Obviously, the University of Ilorin. We don't have any two Better by Far. We just have one. So it is just like a collaboration of the University of Ilorin with the University of Ibadan.
The first and the best, the premier university.
All right, guys. So if you're coming across our video for the very first time, this is our YouTube channel, and what we do on this platform is that we sensitize people regarding agriculture, and we tell people that agriculture is the bedrock of every economy
So
anywhere in the world. Quote me wrong. So today we are going to be discussing a very important topic, Miss Dami. GMOs,
GMOs.
the genetically modified
The
organisms.
great GMOs.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of controversial statements. People saying that GMOs are not healthy. They are this, they are that. They are this, they are that. So let's start with this. What are GMOs?
So GMOs are genetically modified organisms.
In a layman's language,
In a
just break it
layman's
down.
language.
Yeah.
It's actually true because they say if you know something very well, you'll be able to explain it simply. I don't
Absolutely.
know this very well, so I'm just showing to put a lot of big English, but no. Let's
All
go back.
right.
Layman's language. So
Okay.
GMOs are not necessarily limited to plants alone. They are
Yeah.
organisms. So it could
Mm-hmm.
be plants, it could be animals, but anything that has its genes tampered with. So we all know human beings are made of genes.
Exactly.
Everything living has a DNA that
Yeah.
makes its structure, DNA, RNA, and all of that. So
Yeah.
genes are like the basic background of something that can be passed from one
Generation
organism
or offspring
to
to
another,
the
one
next.
offspring to another.
Yeah.
So that's why we have, and they are so vast and so many in such a way that we only have a composition, or it can only come together to form. That's why we are all unique as organisms, as
Yeah.
individuals. So when the gene has not necessarily been tampered with, but let's just call it modified according to the
Mm-hmm.
name. So let's say you take A, you put it to B, you put G into, you just tamper with anything, that is
Okay.
a GMO. Animals, plants, anything,
Oh.
it is a GMO. But now the context is we are agriculturists, I guess we're talking
Yeah.
about plants,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
Okay, so is there a possibility that we could manipulate these organisms, let's say from A to B? You made mention of something like that. So how does that happen?
So most of the things that are done concerning GMO, they are basically maybe lab work. It's there are technology for these things. There are
Okay.
things that would help you to like modify the gene. How that let me just put it that
Yeah.
there's a terminology for it. I can't remember now. So there are technology that will help you, and some people do something similar. I won't necessarily call it selection is something similar to GMOs
Yeah.
because it's like, okay, let's say the corn, the normal corn, it
Yeah.
started from a wild grass. they call it teosine or something. It's a
You,
yes, it
oh,
is.
wow.
And then it just got, you planted over and over. When you plant something over and over, you would not have the exact same product over time. Not necessarily like it will change physically, it will have the same appearance, but then because there will be a lot of environmental factors that will come in play. There will
Oh,
be a lot of fiscal factors, management, even the littlest things in selection,
yeah.
insects and pests. All of these things happen and make um, selection to happen. So we have natural selection, we have artificial selection.
Selection, yeah.
So you can, even the environment does its own selection. So the environment itself does its own GMO and
Wow.
all of that. So it's like a very, very interesting process. It's something that happens in the lab. It's something that happens even on the field, and it's
Hmm.
just it's a very vast topic.
So, some people believe GMOs are pests, are pesticides. Let me put it that way. Yeah,
Pesticides.
because maybe because I'm too fast to go into this aspect though, but some people believe that one of the reasons why we have GMOs in plants is because we have to modify some plants to be resistant against some pests.
Yeah.
So they say the reason for that is that you are imputing or embedding some genes that are resistant to pests.
Yeah.
It could be some chemicals or a lot of things that they believe though. So they said that is possibly that anything is pest resistant is a pesticide.
You know. So
So what do you have to say about that?
I think pesticides, in the context of what they are saying, is chemical, and it's just basically simple. What I call it, simply looking at something and seeing, because pesticides are inorganic.
Yeah.
GMOs are plants. You grow them and they will grow now. So they're living. So you can't basically call something organic, inorganic. There is that divide between them. So yes, it's true actually, because when you have GMOs, they make them, and is that not a good thing to have something resistant to pesticide?
Mm-hmm.
This does not necessarily give my stand on GMOs yet. I think we'll still get to that, right? But
Absolutely.
then, um, you have something that can resist pests, that can grow on the field and resist pests. It's not necessarily, because how do you put a non-living thing into a living thing? When it's not a cyborg, or when it's not when it's not necessarily, I don't even know. So you can't necessarily do stuff like that and call it a pesticide in the inorganic sense.
Oh,
It's a pesticide in the sense that it can only resist this pest. It can it's because it's just basically like, imagine somebody that has maybe some spots or something that resists mosquitoes or something.
yeah.
It's like it's part of me. It's a living thing inside me. It's part of my genetic composition already. But then
Yeah.
when mosquitoes see it, they run away. Sorry, this is a very, very crude analogy, but I think that's like something to give to explain it, because it's not necessarily putting.
So, okay, understood very well. So, let me ask you another question concerning this GMO matter.
Yeah,
Why GMOs? Why do people come about GMOs?
because we have a problem of food insecurity, and
Can you cite some of the examples of the problems that we had or we have?
food insecurity, yeah, we have a lot of problems. We have wastage,
Okay,
and we have increase in population.
okay,
Although I personally believe that the increase in population is something that, with the way people are not giving birth right now, in local context, it will still reduce. But that's just a personal belief anyway. But then we have food wastage, we have lack of storage, we have people are not planting anymore. I think we
mm-hmm.
had this in our last conversation where we
Yeah.
spoke about the fact that people are very averse to the concept of agriculture, to the concept of planting and all of that. So people are not doing these things anymore, and it's causing food insecurity. Right now, the world population is moving to, I think, 10 billion. Please confirm that if I'm wrong or right. And
Yeah.
we have that much people in the earth, and we cannot afford to waste food anymore. Waste food does not necessarily mean, okay, now take food that's spoiled and go and pour it. No, no. Waste food is that we cannot afford to not plant. We cannot afford to have um food losses to pests.
Mm-hmm.
You would see, if you do some research, you see cases where whole hectares, large areas of land, large acres have been reduced to nothing, of
Yeah.
agricultural land with something planted on them has reduced to nothing because of pests
Yeah.
overnight, especially those insects, those ants, can you call
Mm.
ants, something ants. So they've all reduced all hectares of land into nothing because of that. So we cannot afford to waste food. We cannot afford to have issues like this anymore. And we also need to, it's just technology. Let's just call it technology in agriculture.
Okay.
These things will definitely develop over time. People that say, yes, no GMOs, it's just like having that conversation of Eve should not have given Adam the apple. If but to be honest, I think these things are not necessarily pre-planned, but they are supposed to happen. Because if Eve did not give Adam the apple, something else, somebody else would definitely, something,
Mm-hmm.
another sequence of events will happen that will make the whole thing. I believe that. I think that once something is meant to happen, if there's a deviation, it will just go another path. It's just like finding another way to
Yeah.
reach your final destination. So it's technology. No matter how averse we had to it, no matter how species, oh yes, GMOs, say no to GMOs. We can only campaign. Sooner or later, we'll get there. We'll get there. And all these sci-fi movies and things we see, let's just say we are far off. But then there are some things that would definitely happen there. So yeah.
Okay. So, are you in support of GMOs?
So this is where my stand on GMOs will come into play, right? So I think personally, because when I was ruminating on this topic, I was trying to not necessarily find my stance, but I think I have something they call cognitive dissonance
Mm-hmm.
with GMOs. I am not. It's like when you have pity. I'm try. I won't say I'm not or I am. Let's just put it that
Okay.
way. It's like when you have pity on a criminal. The criminal did something bad. We are all admit. We're all aware. But
Yeah.
then it's human. That kind of thing.
But there are some criminals that would want you to have that pity on them. When you see them in action.
Exactly when you see them in action, but no, this time we're not seeing them in action. They called you. Maybe you're sitting in the courtroom, and they called you, and they called you're an observer. Yes, we are observers. And the criminal came out, and they said they listed his crimes, and then you see his face. Although he's a front, he probably committed too many crimes, and he's proud of it. But then you would think he's human, and why do it? So that's the kind of, it's like when cognitive dissonance is when you have you are able to hold two opposing beliefs about something. So
Yeah.
that's where my I am part comes in. Like I have said, I think GMOs are things that are inevitable. That there are things that I won't call them necessary, but they are important for advancement. There are things
Okay.
that we really need in the agricultural space. We it will definitely get there. And the only thing that I think I would say I'm against is that GMOs are they pose a lot of risks. They pose a whole lot of risks. There was
You
this
mean it?
yes I do. They pose a lot of risks because there was this research that was carried out in the 90s, and this this lab person, this scientist carried out a research on, was it I can't remember the plant now. And then he tried it on some rats, and those rats started developing
Okay.
some different things that was just very bad. And I can't remember his name. And Germany is very, very against GMOs.
GMOs.
You know, Germany, they're always like on a different side of things. So they gave him a whistleblowing award
Hmm.
because they felt it blew, because it's like something that people they felt people should know. So we have these risks, and it's science. There are allergies, things might not sit right. But on the other side, GMOs, like I said, natural selection is basically kind of GMO because things are changing, things are reconstructing in natural selection, things are entering each other, combining. Selection is happening, artificial or natural. So banana, I know we've all heard the story of banana, how banana grew, and banana had a lot of seeds. and less pop.
I think I've heard of that before too.
You've heard of it, and
Yeah.
because human beings thought, no, we don't want seeds. They started planting. You see, they will harvest a lot. I'm just giving this scenario. See a lot of banana, then look for the ones that don't have seeds, that don't have as much seeds, and plant it. Obviously, it's whatever the parent has that will go back to the offspring.
Offspring,
And
yeah.
then they started reconstructing and new bananas with less seeds happen.
But do you think that was a result of lab work
No, it
or
wasn't. It was
natural
natural.
evolution?
There was no the science has not advanced to this level where we
Okay.
had as much would I call it as much advancement or something where we can basically carry this into the lab. No, it's just okay, if you see the old kind of corn that we had, I told you it came from wild grass,
Yeah.
wheat, apples, strawberries, all of these things, we picked them. We picked the ones we want. The ones we didn't want, we discarded them over time. The tangelo, yes, have you also had the conversation about tangelo, tangerine, orange? Fruits themselves are things that you see because most fruits, do you think they just happen to be so sweet? No, not
So you
necessarily.
mean it's as a result of
Selection,
selection?
people picked whatever they wanted.
So sorry, is selection the same with GMOs?
No, selection is definitely not the same with GMOs. I'm just saying that something similar to um selection is like you're picking your preference. You put a lot of things and you say, no, I don't want this one. It's still this. I don't want this one. It's this. And you pick the one you want and plant it. If you now plant something similar to the ones you picked, maybe you are in a group of yellow things and green things, you pick the green ones and you plant. Normally, ceteris paribus, you're supposed to have green, at least for
Okay.
the first generation or some subsequent generations. Maybe later, if it's a recessive gene, you have the yellow one. So it's like something that developed over time. You started picking and planting and planting and planting. So when that happens, what will now happen to the other ones that we don't want? So even the pesticide, something that you're talking about, it's something that you plant and you develop, would I say, resistance over time. Sooner or later, evolution will happen in such a way that plants themselves will develop natural resistance.
But do you know, talking about selection and the genetically modification, if you look at some sweet potatoes, for example,
Yeah,
the white sweet potatoes we have in the market
yes,
are GMOs. They are modified
yes.
because they have reasons for that. Talking about banana too, the seedless banana we all know now, including plantains in quotes. When I say I don't totally believe that it's as a result of evolution. There are some traces of genetically modifying them
Yep.
at some point, and several crops out there. So, talking about this, what are some of the disadvantages of genetically modifying some specific crops to suit in the challenges you have now, like world population, food wastage, all this other stuff? What are some of the disadvantages we have in this aspect of genetically modifying them?
So I think I would answer this question by giving. I remember this very, very well because it's something that just stuck to me. It's the first day of secondary school, and
Oh,
we're having basic science. Sorry, I'm trying to get into this. I'm my basic science teacher, and then I think somebody asked a question, and the person was like, why do we wash rice over time, trying to remove starch? The question was about washing rice. Like,
okay.
we wash rice several times. I
Yeah.
wash rice up to 4 times to
Wow.
remove starch. And then my teacher was like, um, every food we have has enough, how do I put it? Has enough um, nutrients. It was meant to be that way. I don't know right now if I agree with that answer. So according to him, washing of rice too much is like you're removing the
Removing
nutrients.
the nutrient, the carbohydrates in it.
There was one theory that even happened when people said, "Oh, sniper and beans and all of that,"
Yeah.
and then we started parboiling beans, and the way you parboil, I still do this thing, and then you parboil the beans, and you see one kind of brown water leave the beans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that brown water, you're wondering, is it not the nutrients? Is it the nutrients? Same thing with vegetables. When I don't blanch my. That's one thing I'm proud of. I don't blanch my vegetables.
Hmm.
So, because when you blanch your vegetables, you see that
The greenish
the
water, which
water
is the
is the
nutrients.
vitamins. You've
Yeah.
broken them down. You're supposed to break them down inside the soup
Or the
and leave
food.
it inside the food. But then no, you've washed them away. So I think to answer your questions of are GMOs good, there's this conversation about rice. There's one name, I won't say breed of rice, one GMO rice. They call it golden rice.
Okay.
That's one GMO I don't think I would support because it's supposed to help against vitamin A deficiency. And then
Okay.
yes, there are people that have vitamin A deficiency, need low eyes, but then are there not other foods that we can take to have vitamin A to increase the vitamin A deficiency? Another a reason GMOs are bad is because it's now very corporate. So
Okay.
these companies would have this seeds, they'll breed them, work on them, do stuff to them, and give farmers. But then the thing with GMOs is, at least not now, you cannot take the offspring or the seeds from a plant that is from GMO and plant it
And
again.
it will grow back.
So it will grow, but you would find something that you might not like.
Yeah.
So you would wonder why corporate people are not like working to make sure that it's something that can continue well. I think that's a conversation for the experts anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
then it's now so corporate that you want poor farmers to adopt this, but then they cannot plant it again. So every time they need to plant, they have
They'll
to
have
go
to go
slow.
back to you.
And then because it's corporate now, they obviously know how corporate organizations work. They
Yeah.
would
Because they have to keep making money.
exactly. So that is one thing why, but that's not even the main reason. Allergies are developing. You have allergies. You have um people reacting like the lab work I told you about. I think
Mm-hmm.
it was potato, and the rats developed something. Another one was on corn, and then they developed this corn and another set of rats. So imagine if human beings had ingested that. Funny enough, it might not actually have affected us anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
then still, what if it did? So I think more research has to go into GMOs. More I'm not necessarily against the idea because like I said, it's something that even happens on
It
its
is
own. It is
science.
science. It happens naturally in its own. So it's something we should not be totally averse to. We should just keep doing research, keep trying to improve it. Because the bananas we are talking about that are GMOs, we've been having it for a long period of time. If there
Yeah.
are side effects, we don't know. At least there is somebody they will not tell you that somebody ate banana and died at the age of 50. How do you know it's banana that killed him at the age of 50? So it's
That's true, actually.
exactly so it's something that it has the potential of helping world food security because no pests will also develop their own. They are also evolving. It's
Yeah.
evolution. Everything is evolution, theory of evolution. Everything is affecting each other in one way. So pests also develop and all, but we should just keep doing it. We should just keep trying to reduce the negative impact if there are any,
Okay.
but not necessarily say, oh, we are averse to it. Yes, large companies, anything might happen and they're trying to poison us. And when you hear these conversations, is they don't have backing for what they're saying. They are just they are very technologically reclined. They don't
Mm.
I think so, to be honest, because you hear people have this the government is the government that's trying to poison us. It's the government
They
that's
are
trying to
trying to
kill us,
reduce the world
reduce the
population.
world population. And do we necessarily think we'll go back to 40 million in the whole world? It's not possible.
It's never possible.
It's not possible. Look at COVID. We survived COVID. We human beings did we developed racism. It didn't really even affect us here in Africa
Yeah.
because Africans are, how would we put it? We have
A naturally strong immunity.
yes, exactly. So COVID did affect us. So we shouldn't necessarily because we need to advance here. We need to most of the things that the world is doing, the world is causing pollution. I think we had that in our last conversation. That Africa
Yeah.
is not responsible for a large number of pollution, but Africa is suffering
From it, yeah.
from it in great numbers. So we need to actually not necessarily say bring all the white people things, bring it. We need to also think about it, do our own research. That's why I think a lot of money needs to go into academics to do research on these things.
And do
To
you
do
think the government is ready to invest that much into academics at this moment?
no, I do not think so.
Well, concerning that, to me, I strongly believe that it is we need to come up with more innovations like the kind of conversation we're having now. Because if individuals fail to pump in their effort into aspect like this and we're waiting for the government, we might just, sorry to say this, but wait on the government till we die. That's just the reality.
Most academics, they get their grants for their research from maybe grants, external funding.
External from maybe the European
Why do
world,
you think
not
ASU is always on strike? It's not necessarily the salaries for them. They also need money to develop their research. Have you seen academics when they work? They are so passionate about their work in such a way that they need money, and that's why they are fighting the government. It's not necessarily okay, increase our salaries, do this. Yes, they also need money for salaries, but they need a lot of funding into their research work. They need money.
possibly when people like you and me go into the government will look into that because yeah, absolutely. I'm passionate about leadership and politics as well, and hopefully I believe that one day we'll get at the top there
I really
and
do hope so.
we'll make things happen.
I really
If
do
the
hope so
government is not
too.
responsible enough to take things up now, then getting to have more knowledge and enlightenment about things like this, I believe that because these are things that is affecting humanity and we need to quickly take action and look into it. But they are just concerned about their well, anyways, don't let us divert that. So coming back to our GMOs, um using beans for example, we have honey beans, we have white beans, we have red beans, we have various kind of beans in the market. The Yorubas we say they have names for it too as well. So comment about all these beans. As far back as 10, 15 years ago, do you think such beans existed? And what, using beans as a case study, what are some of the reasons for modifying beans? Because I remember while growing up as a child, though I'm not too old, I'm still a very young boy. So while growing up as a child, I remember that there are some times whereby if some people want to cook beans, they will put alum in the beans, they will put iron, like nay, inside the beans, a lot of things inside the beans just to make it. Some people cook beans overnight. But this time around, in fact, even as at yesterday, we wanted to cook beans and we just soaked it in water for a couple of minutes, put it on fire, and in less than an hour, everything is done. It was so sweet and nice. I'm a very good cook too. I cook too, yeah. And the beans were very. So I was like, the beans we have in the market now, what happened to the beans that came from nature that we do cook for sometimes overnight, several hours before it gets in? Could it be that all the beans we have in the market now are GMOs? Then what happened to the beans we got from the wild nature?
I don't think the beans we have now are GMOs because I currently have some beans in my wardrobe and they have a lot of weevils.
No, no,
Like,
talking about GMO, it must not be pest resistant. Actually, it
mm,
might be that this breed of beans we have now takes a longer time to grow. So let's try to modify it in a way that the new species or breed we are having, the new species, sorry, we are having now, then the old one maybe gets done in 5 hours. So let's have one now. Let's modify one now to be done in 30 minutes, 30 minutes to 1 hour. So you can just take it to the lab, extract the genes, work on it, come up with a new breed, and boom, something like that could happen. So do you believe that things like this are possible?
I'm really surprised you chose beans because I think beans is actually, if the conversation was on corn, corn is like, there are lots of
Yeah, corn too.
genetically modified
Yeah,
corn.
corn too actually. Because the reason why I said so is because we have sweet corn.
Yep.
Sweet corn, I
Super
believe
sweet
it's
corn.
yeah, it's a it's an GMO too as well. So okay, let's use corn as a case study now. How do people go about modifying this? And I remember, was it not I don't want to mention anybody's name, but it was one of the top food agency director general talking about that if over 90% of the population we have in Africa today, if you should get their blood, and take it to the lab to run analysis on it, you discover that there are some traces of maybe either glyphosate or some of these chemicals in their blood. So she was making reference to GMOs and some of these chemicals we use as maybe herbicide or pre-emergence or some of these things. She was making reference to it. So it was like accumulation of this in our body. We call things like cancer and some of these things. So saying something like that, I was a bit scared. So what are some of the remedies to these GMOs? Do you think we should totally scrap them off, or we should improve on each, or what can you say about it?
I don't think we should totally scrap GMOs because, like I said, they're not. I didn't say necessary, important to technological advancement. We need something that can develop resistance.
Hmm.
And I think the human blood that you mentioned, that they
Yeah.
found a lot of glyphosate and herbicides and chemicals in their bloodstream is probably due to the manual of spraying have you seen how some people handle processed beans? They'll say, oh, they don't want weevils and spray the beans, the cowpea itself, and
Yeah.
spray it. And that's why that conversation happened that time when people they said, oh, don't eat beans again. They are spraying it with chemicals and all of that. So I don't think even sweet corn. It's I've had super sweet corn. I've had
Hmm.
and I don't think anything is wrong with me. Although yes, okay, some of these things are they can be cancerous and all of that. I told you I have a I uphold both beliefs of GMOs at once.
Okay.
Call me an hypocrite. But anyway, so so yes, you have that. But I don't think scrapping it entirely is the deal. It won't necessarily help things because we'll still come back to it. We'll still
Hmm.
definitely have to. We need There's food insecurity problem. We cannot afford to keep slacking with food.
Okay, so let me ask you this question now.
Yeah.
If we critically look at GMOs, there are some people that might be watching this video now and they will truly not understand what GMOs do. As an agronomist, can you break it down in a layman's language? Okay, this is how, just illustrate it to us in a way we understand. Okay, we take this from this, though I understand you might use some terminologies that people who are not scientists would understand. But just break it down that okay, this is how GMOs happen. This is how you take this from this, do this like this, like this, like this, and then come up with something like this, like then we tag it GMOs. And aside that, I think the last part of our discussion, we are going to talk about GMO and hybrid.
Mhm. Okay.
So, but first, let's go into GMOs now. How do people come about GMOs?
Okay. So in a layman's language, like you asked me to put it, we have if you like I mentioned, my beans has weevils. You have fruits with a lot of seeds
Yeah.
that you might not necessarily, like oranges now. You drink some, they just have to be spitting out and all of that. So you have some things that we don't necessarily I won't say need. Some we might say, oh, this pineapple is too small. I need
Okay.
bigger pineapples.
Yeah.
I need bigger fruits. I
Okay.
need bigger purples and all of that. So GMOs is like taking the genes. Like I mentioned, the gene is like the basic parts of. So it's like a machine here. Let's use the analogy of a machine.
Okay.
Different parts, different things work together in a machine. So
Hmm.
it's like taking a part that is kind of slow, that is lagging behind, modifying it, doing some things. Maybe if it's a gear, something, changing the stick, including something, another shaft or something,
Okay.
making it work better. So the all parts of the machine is better. So let's imagine we have beans that has weevils now. A modified beans
Mm-hmm.
against, and the thing is, GMOs will treat one particular, would I say, problem. So if like my beans with weevils, a genetically modified beans without we will try to develop resistance towards weevils, towards,
Okay.
so when the weevil seeds and you have good beans, please
Okay.
tell me why that is bad. Why it is bad, let me answer my question, is that you never know how human beings, when they ingest these things,
Mm.
how it can be reacted to. But then scientists right now are, would I say, keeping us calm. I said, okay, there's nothing, you've all been eating GMOs, you've been eating GMOs since the start of time, tangerine, tangelo, orange, banana, and all of that. They're trying to keep us calm and all. But still, some people have allergies. They
Hmm.
might be cancerous. But then who would not want a bigger fruit? If I see a very
Obviously.
big pineapple that
You
is
love
soft
pineapples
and
too.
juicy, I would,
And sweets.
and sweet. I love pineapples. So I think GMOs are just basically that analogy that I gave.
Hmm.
That it's in the name, genetically modified. It's genes. It's not something that you can see with your koro eyes. Or maybe they take the seed, shift it small, and put another. No, it's definitely. I think some people have that perception of GMOs. That is something that they will take the seed, cut it, perform surgery on
Hmm.
seeds. No, it's genes now. You can't see. You can't see these things with your eyes. You have to do stuff in the lab.
Yeah,
You have to,
exactly.
and if we are doing other things, we are doing things like tissue culture, other scientists to advance science, because tissue culture is basically performing surgery. I
Like
think
surgery, yeah, plant
on
surgery.
plants, yes, and then you still carry that same plant and plant it and it will grow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just basically doing better for the environment, treating things like we need to have, again, food security. So GMOs are something that we should just try to ask questions. Anytime I see people against GMOs, I always try to understand their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And then anytime I also see people for, I always also try to understand their perspective. I think once people that are against it, they should keep trying to raise their concern, saying, "Oh, we don't want it." Let them know why you don't want it, so they'll work on it. But
Mm.
say GMOs, okay, go back. They should know GMOs. We want to be planting. We want our small oranges. You are eating a GMO. You probably ate a GMO today or yesterday without
There's
knowing.
nobody living on earth now that will tell me that he or she have not tasted or eaten a GMO crop. It's not
Exactly,
possible.
exactly.
At
It's
some
so
point,
possible.
knowingly or unknowingly, you have constantly or occasionally taken a crop or a farm produce that is a GMO,
Genetically
that is genetically
modified.
modified. So, coming back to hybrid, what are hybrids?
So hybrids.
Because some people mistake GMOs for hybrid. They say hybrids are GMO, GMOs are hybrid. What are hybrids?
So hybrids are like things that are like tangerine now.
Yeah.
They call it tangerine and orange.
Hmm.
So something like that. That's a hybrid. So a hybrid does not have any of the lab tweaking,
Okay, lab token. It's
any
just
of
like
the
the natural
modification.
visible stuff.
Yes, you take two different things. It's just in the name, hybrid. Take two
Okay,
different things and plant. A GMO might not necessarily. A GMO is something you take from the lab and
okay.
plant the seed. So a hybrid is maybe a fruit or seeds that are from the combination of two things that are
Different.
not of the same gene.
Yeah.
So, or not necessarily of not of the same genes, but like they don't have similar genes. It's like
But they are from the
I
same.
really want to make something
They are
very
from
racist,
the
but
same family.
yes, they could be from the same family. But I think there's some advancement into planting things that are not from the same family.
Oh, in
I
the animal kingdom, we have uh we have, let's use dogs for example. We have various kind of dog. We have German Shepherd, we have Caucasian, we have
Chihuahuas, we have all of
yeah,
that.
yeah, all these. So let's assume that we you are taking a Caucasian to cross with or to meet a German Shepherd. So the offspring will be a hybrid,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Like you have
Okay,
two things that they might be from the same family, from the same genus, but then they are not necessarily the same in genes.
okay,
So it has to, for you to make an hybrid, you have to have two non-genetically similar things. But
okay.
then for a GMO, you don't, you are not concerned with the differences
The
in
difference
genes. You
is,
just
yeah.
need to tweak,
Okay.
modify the genes
You are
to.
tampering with the gene.
Don't call it we don't call it tamper. We don't call it. We say
Okay, you are
modification.
modifying the gene.
We're modifying the
Okay,
gene.
let me speak like a scientist.
Yeah.
Because most of the people watching this video now, some of them have never sat in a science class before. So that's why I'm trying to calm the conversation down and bring it into their understanding so that they understand. So let me explain according to what I've understood and maybe what I've read over the years about GMOs and hybrid. GMOs is that, let's assume you travel to Russia. Russia is a very cold country, and you saw a special of apple that is growing there. Coming back to Nigeria, there is a special of, naturally, because of the weather condition of Nigeria, apples don't grow here because apples are cold region crops. So let's assume that you got a special of apple in Russia, brought it back to Nigeria. Then coming back to Nigeria from another plant, maybe you saw an apple that grew in Lagos, but it's not producing fruit. So you now extract the genes of that apple in Russia to embed it in the genes of the apple growing in Lagos to come up with something, because the genes of that apple in Russia is different from that one in Lagos. So you now extract, mix the genes together and culture it in a lab and make it grow. So the genes that made that apple in Lagos to grow, we make it grow. Then the gene that made that apple in Russia to grow and also produce, we make that apple in Lagos, or putting it together, it will make the two grow and also produce. So you are bringing in two different genes from different plants to impute it together. But hybrid, you just take the, that is a science and lab work for GMOs. But talking about hybrid, you take this physically. Oh, this orange is sweet. This one is not sweet. Then you plug or you try to boil the one that is sweet from the one that is not sweet. That is, you are trying to breed or come up with an hybrid. So that is the difference between hybrid and
And GMO.
GMO. Hybrid is physical, physically done. It doesn't require any lab work at all. But GMOs, it requires lab work, requires science understanding, requires a lot of things and manipulations in the lab. Sorry to use that word again, but that is just it. It requires you touching the genes. Oh, you are touching the genes,
We
extracting
call
the
it a
genes.
tamper.
So, yeah, tampering with the genes. Let me put it that way. That is just the difference between hybrid and GMOs. So let's mention some of the crops that are hybrid and GMOs that we find around us.
So we have corn. There are various varieties of corn that are GMOs. We have
Do you know
rice.
some that you can mention?
Think okay, the ones I know they're under research because I remember my lecturer used to mention them. But I think there are varieties of super sweet corn. There's
Okay.
telomeres, there's all of these things, they are
That are
GMOs.
GMOs.
Yeah.
Still under test in the lab.
Yes, some of them are still under testing lab, some of them are not.
Okay.
And some of them are already out in the public. That's what I mean by not. And let's
Mm.
also not forget the fact that environment is a very, very important factor in GMOs too. Because
Mhm.
like the analogy you gave with apples,
Yeah.
if you plant those apples, would they still grow? That's the question. Because we don't have, yes, you brought the gene in, but then we don't have the environment to favor that. Do you
Okay.
understand? It's still very warm here. So the gene can now, I don't know, would it be able to manifest at that instant? Because
Mm.
we are bringing it from somewhere cold. That's the question. I think we should do more research and speak about it. What do you
No
think?
worry, maybe in our next
Conversation.
conversations.
Yes.
So something came to my mind now. A practical farmer. So there are some seeds we import from China, from Canada, from some of these Western and European countries, and including Asian countries. We import some of these seeds. If you plant them, let's say using bell pepper as an example, if we plant them here, they grow, they will produce seeds. But if you replant those seeds, they will not grow. Why? Are they GMOs?
They could be.
Is it that you are not certain or definite about your answer?
I am not certain because I don't think I know much about the importation of seeds into the business of that. But then they could be,
Hmm.
because that's like one characteristic of GMOs, not the whole thing. Some of them I heard, some of them are doing okay. But then
Hmm.
it's not necessarily the character, the only characteristic. But why normally on a normal ceteris paribus, I keep using that if you plant a seed, it should actually give you the same thing over. But it will get to a point where you should not be doing that, except it won't be doing that anymore, except it has been genetically modified.
Hmm.
If it has, it wouldn't do well in the second generation or the third generation.
Oh. Okay. So watching us for the very first time, this is the Unilearn Fanboy, and what we do on this channel is that we sensitize people and educate them about agriculture related matters, of which today we are talking about genetically modified organisms and hybrid. I know you will have a lot of controversial alternatives in line with what we've just said now. What is your view about this video, or what is your view about this topic? Drop it in the comment section, and do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if this is the first time you are
Right.
coming about or you are coming across our YouTube channel. We are a team of people working together to liberate minds that have negative thinking or insight about agriculture. Agriculture is always the way forward, the bedrock and the mother of every economy in the world. There is no economy that is booming that
Mm.
you cannot find the traces back to agriculture. Yes, and we want to tell the world that we have the mother of all other causes. So going back to you, Miss Dami, what are some of the last words that you have to say to our viewers out there, people watching us, and people who have positive or negative perceptions about this topic we've just talked about, GMOs?
I think that if you have, whether positive or negative, whatever your views are about GMOs, you should try to do more research on it. Try to understand it, see it from the opposing perspective, understand, and research and advancement should be going. And that's why
Hmm.
I'm happy we are doing this, because we're helping people that don't know about GMOs. We're helping them to like at least understand. It's just a Google search. Just
Hmm.
type GMOs, put a small S at the back, and you see a lot of information.
About
Read
it.
papers on it. Read um not necessarily get into conversations, but follow conversations about it.
Mhm.
Conversations like this one, ask people about their views. Meet the Because I know there are some academics that are for, and there are some that are against.
Yeah.
Meet them if you're very curious. Speak to them about it. Tell them, okay, sir, please, could you like just tell me something? I know academics like to talk about their work a lot. So
Mhm.
if their views, they like to speak about it. So meet sir, meet a sir, meet a ma, tell them these are the things I need to know from you. So let's just not entirely close our eyes to it, or entirely open our hearts to it without necessarily knowing what it is about. Let's
Mm.
do that. And I'm very happy I'm here. Very happy. I did not mention I am a co-founder of the Aloe Initiative. We also do and sensitize young people into
Oh,
matters like this. And now that we've spoken about this, I think I would find a way to chip it in soon with you.
that would be a very great one. I will be
Yeah.
anticipating that.
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right. So, for me out here, what I will leave you with is that when we talk about things like this, when you see young people sit down to tell you and to discuss very important and crucial topics that are really affecting the society, don't just watch our videos and skip. Have more knowledge to have more time to invest in your knowledge. Go make research. You have the gadget, you have the phone in your hand. That's cell phone, the
Small Google
iPhone, the
search.
smartphone. Like, it's not just for you to to just run through social media. You can make research, come up with something innovative, be creative, just like what we are doing now. Also, make your contribution to the society. So I am the Unilorin fanboy, and just as I said before, we sensitize people about agriculture related matters, not just farming, but food inclusive, of which is part of what we are doing now. So remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. With me today is Miss Dami, the chief agronomist and a graduate of, is it the first? or
The
the
first
second?
and the best.
The first
Chief
university.
agronomist in the making.
Anyways, she's a graduate of agronomy in the University of Ibadan. I am a 400 level agriculture student of the University of Ilorin. She said hers is the first, where mine is better by far.
Premier University, first
The better by
and the
far
best.
university.
There is better and there is best.
But yours is not the best.
That's why I said the first and the best now.
Anyways, it's nice having you on this show.
Nice having you.
We'll see next week.
We'll see next
We'll
week.
keep
Okay.
having more of these discussions as of next every week to be coming on our platform every week. So we just need you to subscribe. Just hit that subscription button. Do not skip it. Just hit it so that anytime we upload a new video, you will have more time, and you'll be the first that will see the video and will tap from the knowledge of our chief agronomist.
In the making.
All right, so it's nice to have you once
Thank
again.
you.
Have a nice time.
I will.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.